the top, I'm just going to make like a little note section here. This will be a reference for you. Special right triangles. So there's two types of triangles that we're going to be talking about. Both of them are right triangles, so both of them have a 90-degree angle. The first one is a 45, 45, 90 degree triangle, 45, 45, 90. And the second is a 30, 60, 90. And this refers to the angle measures. Okay, I also have this on the board as well, so you can use that as you do your homework, but so you have a reference in the notes. What's also interesting, does anyone have their math folder? Okay, on the reference sheet for FSA, it actually has this as well. So you don't necessarily have to memorize it, but you have to know how to use it. So special right triangles, this is on the FSA reference sheet. It's right here, and it's referenced to these ratios. So, like I said, you don't have to memorize it, but you have to know how to use it. Honestly. So, for 45, 45, 90, it looks like this. It's an isosceles triangle with a right angle. So these two sides are the same length, and then connect it to make the triangle. And then 45, 45, 90 refers to the angle. So this is 45, this is 45, then of course this is 90. And then these side lengths are related through a ratio. Of course, for these two side lengths, they're the same measure. So we got x and x. And then for the hypotenuse, it is x times square root of 2. So if you have one of these sides, you could find the other ones. Then for 30, 60, 90, this leg is longer, this one's shorter, and then you have your hypotenuse, and it makes a 90-degree angle here. And so this is 90, and then the smaller of the two angles is 30, and then the larger is 60. And opposite the smallest angle, which is 30 degrees, is your shortest side. Label that S. And then the hypotenuse right here is 2 times the length of that side. And then the medium length side is short times square root of 3. I'm going to zoom in here. That's all right. I'm zooming, sorry, it's kind of blurry. Okay, well, I have this up. I know some of you are finishing that. We aren't going to do this chart here together just to like save our brain space. But one thing you do need to know is that in a square, if you have a diagonal here, you would have a 45, 45, 90-degree triangle. So it would follow those rules, and you could find side length using that. Okay, moving down here. Okay, so we're going to start with the 45, 45, 90. So when you look at these special right triangle problems, the first thing you want to identify is what kind of triangle it is by looking at the angle measures. So there'll be something identifying this as a 45, 45, 90, usually 90-degree angle and a 45-degree angle. Then your two legs are the same length, so that would be x, and then your hypotenuse is x times square root of 2. I had you write down these instructions here. Some of you might find using this easier than looking at the image. If you're going from a leg to a hypotenuse, you multiply by square root of 2. If you're going from hypotenuse to leg, you divide by square root of 2. And that's what we're going to be doing for the first set of problems. So for number 1, it shows one of the legs as 10, and the two legs are the same length. So this would be 10 as well. And then to get to the hypotenuse, we multiply by square root of 2. So this would be 10 square root of 2. Okay, so for number 2, they give us one of the legs. The legs are the same length, so then y would also be square root of 6. And then to get to the hypotenuse, multiply by square root of 2. So square root of 6 times square root of 2 would be, I don't know why I did a line. It's square root of 12. And then you would need to simplify this. You could either find the decimal of it, but most often the answers are going to be the simplified version of this. So to simplify this, break it up into factors, and I get 2 square root of 3. So this is 2 square root of 3. If you needed to, if like simplifying, like you just can't get it, you could use a calculator, and if you do square root of 12, you would get this decimal. And then if all the answer choices looked like this, you could plug this in the calculator and figure out which one equals that. And it should equal the same decimal. If the simplified version is equal, it should equal the same decimal, so you can use that if needed to check yourself. Okay, for number 3, same thing, it gives us a leg. To find the other leg, it's just the same measure, 3 square root of 7. And then to get the hypotenuse, we multiply by square root of 2. So 3 square root of 7 times square root of 2 will equal 3 square root of 14. Simplify it if you can, but in that case, like, the factors are all prime, so there's nothing you can simplify. Okay, so on the next 3 examples, we're going from hypotenuse to leg. So to go from hypotenuse to leg, again, you can use the chart hypotenuse to leg. You divide by square root of 2. So we are going to divide by square root of 2 to get this length. Let's see, so 4 square root of 2 divided by square root of 2. And these just cancel, and it's 4. And then the leg over here, same length. Okay, number 5, dividing by square root of 2. So 12 divided by square root of 2. You could find the decimal of this if you wanted to simplify, just multiply by square root of 2 over square root of 2 to get that, to rationalize the denominator. This. And then 2 and 12 can both be divided by 2, so I get 1 and 6. And then it comes out to 6 square root of 2. Okay, number 6, same thing. We're dividing by square root of 2. So 4 square root of 6 over square root of 2. There is a little hack here. Just like you can multiply the radicals, you can divide them. So square root of 6 divided by square root of 2 is square root of 3. So 4 square root of 3. Makes it a little easier. 4 square root of 3 here. 4 square root of 3. Okay. Ready for the next slide? Okay, so that's the 45, 45, 90. Now we're going to focus on the 30, 60, 90. So 30, 60, 90. Right here, we're going to label the ratios. We have our short side right here, which is going to be S. Our hypotenuse is 2 times the short side. And then this, I prefer to call it the medium length side, is S times square root of 3. And again, if it's better for you to use a chart, short to hypotenuse, short to medium, hypotenuse to short, medium to short, you could use these instructions here, whatever is comfortable to you. So for the first one, we have our short side, 2 times the short, and then the medium length side is short times square root of 3. So to go from short to the hypotenuse, it's just 2 times 12, which is 24. And then short to the medium would be just 12 times square root of 3. You're done. Okay, then from short to hypotenuse, this is 2 times the short, and then this is short times square root of 3. So from here to here, do 6 square root of 5, like times 2, or times 2, would be 12 square root of 5. And then to get here, we multiply by square root of 3. So 6 square root of 5 times square root of 3, 6 square root of 15. Okay, so this is 2s, s, and s square root of 3. So to go from here to here, we're going to need to divide by 2. Divide by 2. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. And then to get to the medium, 8 times square root of 3. Just multiply by square root of 3. Okay, and number 4, so again this is 2s, s, and s square root of 3. So I'm going to divide this by 2 to get the short side. 8 square root of 6 divided by 2. Divide this by 2 to get 1, divide by 2 to get 4. 4 square root of 6 is the answer. Then to get here, we multiply by square root of 3. So 4 square root of 6, I feel like my hand's in the way. We get 4 square root of 18. You could find a decimal for this and compare it to the answer choices. Ideally, you should simplify the square root of 18. 9, 2, 3. So these will come out 3 square root of 2. So 4 times 3 square root of 2, which is 12 square root of 2. If this is starting to feel like almost too hard, focus on like the easy stuff that didn't feel so hard. I'm going to like build some challenge with these last 2 problems. Depending on where you are, if you're ready for the challenge, if you feel comfortable, go with it. If you're not, just like copy it down and just know like you can do the easier ones. Okay, so from here, we have our medium length to short. We have to divide by square root of 3. And if you have trouble figuring that out, you can use the instructions at the top too. So 9 square root of 2 divided by square root of 3. Then we have to get rid of this radical as a denominator. So I do 9 square root of 6 over 3. Then simplify this, divide by 3. We get 3 square root of 6. So that's the answer here. And then to go from short to the hypotenuse, we multiply by 2. So that would be 2 times 3 square root of 6, which is 6 square root of 6. And then here to the short, divide by square root of 3. 21 divided by square root of 3. Can't leave that as a denominator, so we rationalize it. And then divide this by 3, divide this by 3, you get 7 square root of 3 here. And then to get to the hypotenuse, multiply by 2. So 2 times 7 square root of 3 is 14 square root of 3. Okay, one more thing that does come up in the homework is if you have an equilateral triangle, meaning a triangle all the sides are the same length, if you have an altitude, then you have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So if you have that situation, then you follow the rules for 30, 60, 90. So as you do the homework problems, a lot of them aren't like this intense. They're more like this intense. Identify whether it's the 45, 45, 90 or 30, 60, 90, and then go from there to find the length of the sides. So homework's on Schoology. Grab a laptop. Go ahead and get it started. And let me know if you have questions or as you have questions.